Hi, it's Tom from BKM Nutrition, and today I want to talk about the 5 reasons why you're not losing weight. Now, I know that people do lists of 5, of 10, of 21 reasons why you're not losing weight. Generally, those sort of lists are created to give a wow factor in, oh look, here's 70 reasons why you're not losing weight. And they're probably all down to just one reason, but I've got my 5 main reasons why people don't lose weight or get the body they want, and this is what I'm going to run through today. And these generally the things I find that people come unstuck with. Yes, there's other small reasons as well, but if you look at why those reasons are happening, they all generally stem back to these 5 as a source. So I'm going to run through them. Feel free to comment below if you disagree or agree, and let's have a chat about it. So first one. Main one, I'm always talking about calories. You haven't calculated your calories. If you don't have a calorie deficit, you are not ever going to lose body fat. I don't care what people say on the internet that calories don't matter. Yes, that's incredibly stupid for people to say that, or people who think they can hack their bodies by eating certain foods, certain superfoods or fat burning foods. You're not going to hack your body. You're not going to lose body fat unless you've got a calorie deficit. So you must calculate your calories in order to lose weight. If you don't know how to calculate your calories for weight loss, you can use one of my calorie calculators on my website. I'll put a list below of the links. It's bknutrition.com/calculator. So first, make sure your calories are calculated for fat loss. If you've got that in place, then you're on the right direction. Number 2 is no portion control. Now, you won't know what portions you can eat if you haven't calculated your calories, so that you know how much food you can eat in a day. Now, what I tend to find is that people, when they are losing weight or trying to lose weight, will try to eat healthy, and if they haven't calculated their calories, what they do is they fill up their plate with healthy foods. And what happens then is the healthy foods they have loads of calories in them. They haven't calculated the calories in the meal, they haven't controlled their portions, and so what they generally do is overeat on healthy foods, thinking it's going to help them lose body fat, and actually it doesn't. Sometimes they gain body fat because of it. So you must know what is in your meals. You must have portion control so you know what size of meal is right for you. Now, this is interesting because there's been a few studies done where they placed plates in front of people and asked them to estimate the calories, and what happens categorically across the board, everybody underestimates the calories in food. And why is that? Because we can't do it with our eyes. We can't assess what's in there, because things like oils and sugars, which are high calorie elements, generally tend to be hidden within the food. So if you look at spaghetti bolognese, for example, you won't know if it's 5% lean mince or if it's 15% mince. And then 5 and 15 can obviously be a massive amount of difference in terms of the fat content and then the calorie content. So you must know what's gone into the meal in order to calculate the portions. So I do advise, if you can, prepping your own meals and weighing things out, or if you are buying from a supermarket or whatever, make sure you look at the calories on the back, and also make sure you look at what the portion size or the serving size that the packet's saying, because quite often you'll get things like chocolate bars which will say, oh, a chocolate bar, there are per one serving is 150 calories. How much is one serving? A third of the chocolate bar. So when you're eating that chocolate bar, you've eaten 3 servings thinking it's 150 calories. Actually, it's 450. So always be aware of the amount of calories in one serving when you're looking at the back of the pack. Make sure that one serving is actually what you're having, and you're not, by no mistake of your own, overeating because they've misled you on the label. Number 3 is not moving enough. Now, this is quite down. People talk about eating less and moving more. Not moving enough is sort of a real dumbing down. What I mean by this is that people think they do more exercise than what they actually do. Now, of course, you can now have things like Fitbits or Apple Watches, which you can wear to give you an idea about the calories or the steps that you've done in a day. So that's a good start. Myself, I use a MyZone belt when I do my exercise. It clips under here, measures your heart activity, which is a good measure of the calories burned. But all these things are not 100% accurate. If you haven't got any of these things, you might think that the workout you've done is an absolutely stonking workout, and so you can have more to eat that day. And this is something that people do a lot, is that they think they have moved a lot, and so they overestimate the calories out. And when they're calculating the calories, when they put it into the MyFitnessPal or whatever, they put this like higher level of calories that they've burned, thinking that they've done some really high-end exercise. Now, an example is that when I had my MyZone belt, I measured a few of my workouts that I did, and I did a leg session, which I thought was incredibly tough. It was hard, it was heavy weights, it was a decent amount of sets. You know, I felt quite tired at the end of it. Looked at the calories at the end. It's only about 500-600 calories, which is still a lot, but you know, for someone my size and for the training I do, it's sort of an average type workout. But I thought the workout was incredibly tough, and if you'd asked me, I would have thought, yeah, that was at least 800-900 calories. Conversely, when I did a shoulder workout the next day, I did lots of sets, lots of reps. I didn't feel that fatigued afterwards, just a little bit tired, a bit of sweating, good pump on. And I looked at the calories, it was about 850 calories. Now, the reason for that when I analysed both workouts was that over the course of the shoulder workout, I'd actually done more reps with more weight. And because I've moved more weight total in the sets, that had led to my heart outputting more energy. So it actually lifted more, expended more energy. And when you think about that, if you put it into a simple analogy, if you lift 100 kilos for 10 reps, or you lift 50 kilos for 30 reps, you've actually lifted more weight, exerted more total energy by the 50 kilos for 30 reps, because the total amount of weight you've lifted is more. But you would have thought that the 100 kilo for 10 reps would be a lot more labor intensive and would be a harder workout. It's actually not when you come down to that. So it's important to think about what you've done in your workouts in your day. Sometimes we think that we've been quite active and we haven't. So it's very important to measure that, to measure your steps in the day, to measure your workout activity. And for God's sake, do not think, oh, I've done a really good workout, so I'll eat more to compensate for that. And that comes on to number 4, which is compensation. So while we underestimate the calories in food, we overestimate the activity we've done, and what we do is we compensate for that by having a rest, or we compensate for that by eating more food as a reward for having a good workout or being good for the day with our diet. Compensation is actually also something that the body does without our control. So if you've had a very energy intensive workout in the morning, you'll find you're more tired towards the evening as the body tries to bring your total calorie output down. Now, there is a limit to this. It has been shown in science that this happens, but there's also a limit to this. Now, I don't remember the exact number without looking up all my graphs and stuff, and I'll keep it quite simple for the video, but if you get to a certain level of output in the day, the body just cannot compensate for that. So there is an argument there for doing as much as you can in your workouts and trying to burn as many calories as you can. Obviously, the risk you're running there is of overtraining and burnout, but the body can only compensate to a certain degree of exercise that you've done. So if you are very active, then it's highly likely that compensation is going to be as a minimal effect than it would be if you just done one workout in the morning and then sat down for the rest of the day. So compensation can be both by you mentally, but also by you physically, your body, without your knowledge, without your consent, which is why it's very important to monitor your steps every day to check that you're at the right amount and the consistent level of activity. Your NEAT activity is determined by your steps. So if you're hitting the same steps every day or increasing every day, then you can be assured that your body might not be compensating. And the last one, which I find a lot of people do, is they don't plan to fail. Now, this is not a negative connotation. This is the fact that people start their diets always thinking that they're not going to cheat anymore. Oh, no more cheat food for me, no more carbs, no more this, no more that, no more donuts ever. Every weekend I see people going, on Facebook, no more, I'm not drinking again ever. Next weekend they're smash bang on it again because they've forgotten what happened the previous weekend. It's the same with dieting. People go, no, I'm not eating carbs now, I'm strict and everything else. A few days into it, they're back eating, sneaking those foods back in. The reason is that as humans, we can't get that feeling of we're not going to ever have anything again, because it almost automatically sets in our mind this barrier, this willpower that we can't have it, that makes us want it more. But also life happens. And things are going to happen in our lives which are going to stress us out, which are going to cause us to have low blood sugar, which are going to cause us to be caught sometimes without our food to hand, and we're going to get hungry, and we're going to have to just make do with what's on offer at the garage or whatever. And this means we're going to not have a 100% hit rate on sticking to our diet consistently. Every now and again, we will go over our calories. Every now and again, We will eat foods that maybe we didn't want to eat and then worry, oh, why did that happen? You know, and I do have other videos about working with your brain, which will explain all these sorts of things. And in my book as well, you can read it there. But, you know, we're not going to be 100% on our diet all the time. You're not going to be 100% great workouts all the time, you know. Sometimes there's going to be a bad workout. Sometimes there's going to be an off day with your diet. And it's just time you've got to accept that. But if you don't plan for that to happen, it can mean your world crashing down. You're getting very depressed about the fact that, oh, you know, I was doing really well and now this has happened. And you end up just trashing your diet or you know, not training for a few days or whatever, because you're so annoyed at that one situation. If you just know that that's going to happen, accept it's going to happen, and think, well, okay, that's happened, okay, move on, it doesn't really matter. Remember, I talk in my other videos about averages. It matters what we eat on average over the week and our training stimulus over the week. It doesn't matter what we do on one day. You know, you don't lose weight in one day, you don't gain muscle in one day. What happens in one day doesn't matter. What happens over the week, over the month, that is what matters. So having one off day or one off meal over the course of 7 to 10 meals or 7 to 10 days does not matter. You know, it's one thing in a lot of things. Remember, we think we need to build consistency. We need to have that consistency of action. If you're off by one or two things, well, the consistency is you're doing it right the other time. So it doesn't really matter. But people don't plan for this. They don't plan to have higher calorie days if they're out with their families. They just think, yes, I'll stick to my diet that day. Yeah, good luck with that. If you've got a kid wanting ice cream, good luck with that. If you're going out with your mates and they're all ordering pizza and you're sat there with your salad, no chance that's going to happen. You're going to break your diet on that day. If you haven't thought about that and if you haven't planned ahead and gone, do you know what? I'll have a higher calorie day there. It doesn't matter because of my averages. It's going to be, I might be over that day, but I'm over for the rest of the 6 days, so it doesn't matter. And of course, over the course of a month, it doesn't matter either. If you don't think about that, what will happen is you'll have the food, you'll feel guilty for it, and then the next day you'll be binging because you're still feeling guilty. Oh, why should I do my diet now? Because I've actually messed it up by having a pizza. No, you haven't. But now what you're going to do is 3 or 4 days of overeating. That is what's going to mess up your diet. So if you don't plan for fail, don't plan to have days off, don't plan to have days out with your family, time off with your kids, ice cream with your kids, etc., then you will definitely fail your diet because that situation is going to come up, and when it does, you'll have no plan, or if you haven't planned to have that day off purposely, and when that happens, you will just think, what's the point, and go off your diet because you think it has to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. I won plenty of shows by not being 100% consistent. I always had days off, I always had cheat meals. Sometimes I just crashed on my diet. I ate all my daughter's Easter eggs a week before one of my shows because I was so hungry and so depleted. I robbed all her Easter eggs, ate them, and that was a week out from a show. I still won that show. However, I had to buy a ton of new Easter eggs for my daughter before she found out about it. Yeah, not great Dad of the Year award that. But I'm just letting you know that these sorts of things can happen. They don't affect the overall effect as long as you are consistent and you're back onto it the next day. So those are the 5 rules. Yes, there are more. There's probably people with rules of 99 reasons you're not losing fat. Who wants to read 99 reasons and realize why you're doing all these things wrong? Get those 5 things right and you're pretty much 99% of the way there. Okay, thanks for watching. If you like this video, please like it. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share as well if it was of help to you, because I'm sure there are people who would benefit from that, and I want to help as many people as possible. All these videos are free. There's no monetization on this site. I don't run adverts because I hate adverts on YouTube, and I just want to make sure everyone's got the information they need to lose weight consistently. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.